Hello everybody, welcome to a Saturday video, and look, we've got a little bit of an interesting one to go over. A forum thread about the Legends event, the Legends Challenge. So as you know, the Brutal DLX Challenge, which has multiple difficulties, it is very grindy. It's kind of weird at the moment, because if you remember, like prior to this Legends event kind of being announced, the challenge and stuff, Command were very much saying that the side quest based incursions event would not be very grindy, and it's kind of weird then that the Legends Challenge comes out. It is very much, it's not a requirement, but you lose out on a lot of rewards and items, including units, if you don't 100% all the difficulties. And unfortunately, one thing that I did find is that when I was trying to auto fight through, it's not as simple as you might think. Like, it took ages, and I was using a pretty strong team. I thought, I'll just put that team in just auto fight. And it took ages to do. It still auto fighted for the lower difficulties, but still it was kind of like, oof. And at one point, and this is 6-star rank 4 champions, which I thought was very weird, very unusual. But, you know, it's always down to, I think, the court of MCOC opinion, whether or not you think that these new events, including this particular challenge, was challenging. A lot of people said, no, this wasn't a challenging event. We'll look at some community sentiment at the moment with it. And I guess that's the problem, isn't it? It's like, well, what and who is this meant to be concerning and kind of, you know, helping? Look. There's a lot of intelligent people in this community. There's a lot of veteran players. A lot of veteran players find content, stuff like this Brutal DLX Challenge, a lot easier than it is. Some people might go like, oh, you know, it might cost me a few revives here and there. Others a lot more. And look, there's different people in this community, and that's something to always bear in mind. How can man make content for different people within this game? It's going to be, we've talked about this on this channel like a lot, and it always kind of, I find it very weird when you know, we see you know, threads crop up talking about difficulty, but there is a legitimate kind of claim to this. I mean, one of the main points here from Go Getter's thread, which started this, says that in the post it read, it will test the skills of the most skillful summoners, but I don't see what skills are being used either, doing the same fights over and over with a slight boost in health and attack, which is a relevant point. The problem with it, it was incredibly repetitive. It's a very, very repetitive challenge, and I think maybe that's the challenge, is like it's repetitive, which kind of like feeds into the narrative of like why a lot of people go and fight on Realm of Legends, because some people do. You know, if I want to get some level 3 health potions, I'd auto fight on it. But nowadays, when I need to use my health potions, it's usually best that I save up my 4-hour free crystals, and pop them open that way. That's been the kind of the best way for it. The biggest issue at the moment, I think, with the game, we don't have any kind of this next of Legends type event, and also Act 8.3 is likely not out to be like next month. No. October, more than likely. I think as we've seen certain leaks about, it does look fairly likely that that's going to be October. So we're kind of you know, without that particular kind of content. But the problem is there's a lot of other grindy stuff in game. If you're a free-to-play player, you know the extensive grind that you might have to max in arena grind within your day. Like for me, I've got a list which I kind of keep right here on my monitor of like all the MCOC jobs that I've got to do on now. You know, got 100% Act 8.2 by the end of the month. I've got to do my Battlegrounds grinding, which I haven't done yet. Arena grind is going to be important. I'm not spending in the game, so I need to get those units, and it's not always possible to do that. I've got to do, I'm at the moment in the middle of a incursion sector 4 grind, then I've got to move on to sector 6. Why am I doing sector 4? Well, the problem is you need to repeat the grind in the incursions to get the milestones. I'm sure a lot of people knew this before they grinded out all of them like sector 6 and decided, I'm not going to do the lower sectors. Yeah, well, you need the filaments. You need the filaments in order to get you know, more in the store, and you need to do more incursions to get more filaments as part of the milestones, because they reset, but the top zone bonus doesn't. In any case, I digress. Let's get into what people are saying. I guess is the thing, like different strokes for different folks of what they're interested in or not. But Saki says, I've explored 3 quests and I'm already sick of this. Uncollected, Cavalier, Thronebreaker, Paragon quests left to go. This is just painful, man. where 6 paths really necessary for the chapter 1 quest. This is more of a test of patience and sanity rather than skill, and I guess that's actually a fair point. I kind of do get that one. It does just feel a little lacking creativity. Excuse me. For the auto fight thing, I experienced that myself. I tried auto fighting the first quest with a few tanky characters and came back to find my rank 4. Oh, do you know what? I'm glad people said that, because I didn't read that element, and I'm surprised that people shared exactly the same thing. Where I fought rank 4 Nemrod losing a 6-minute fight against a 3-star Winter Soldier. Yeah, no, I get that. I do experience that. I will be 100%ing it, because there's free units. And by the way, again, when I distinguish free units in this game, I mean, we didn't spend it. I didn't spend it. You didn't spend on it. We got free units. So that's why I'm going to do it, for free units. It's not a substantial amount, but I could probably get equal bar when it comes to arena grind versus it. Oh, man. Oh, it's funny that. I don't think Kabam seriously dropped the ball with this. I think they could have done better with this. It should work as a quest. It just did not, with it. I think it's a bit harsh, but, it's down to everybody's opinion on the matter. But yeah, look, it's weird. It was weird doing a guide. I did a guide within 24 hours, and I still felt that even though I posted that guide, and I was pretty happy with it. I was pretty chuffed with that guide. I put a lot of effort into that. But then I just kind of thought and saw a lot of, whether or not it's comments on that video or comments on in different places, and the way oh, it's easy, and it's just and I was thinking man, if I could have posted that a day before, but then saying that there's been some other great guides that have kind of come out, Unofficial Kabam Mike's put out a good video. I think I just saw in the last 24 hours that it was Jason Vereris had posted something. So look, people are putting guides out there, and it's just a case of hunting for the best team to make it the most effective as possible without having to have the time suck, because I think that's the problem. It's a bit of a time suck, and yeah, I suppose not overly difficult. I guess the thing, are people expecting kind of Abyss of Legends level of difficulty nowadays for stuff? But again, thinking that's a good test of, since the Apothecary, since the Revive Farm nerf, is that something we really want? We want to be seeing kind of more. Is it I don't know, what not Infamous? What is he called? Nameless Thanos level of kind of quest. Maybe having a few fights leading up to that would have been kind of cool. Or maybe something from Act 7. Act 7 was fun. Maybe do bosses like that. I don't know. I guess it's again down to stuff. Big Popper says, I'm okay with the rewards obtained more easily than expected. The format isn't great, but I'd rather do it over a queue. Could the few people that want punishing content make it more challenging themselves via champ selection? But that's a good, that's a good point as well. But this is the problem, isn't it? There's always kind of two sides to every story. As a community, we have to find the best options to take on the content. If we find the best options, the content is then going to get easier or feel easier. The same way, me creating there it is, me creating here some counters. If we didn't have any of these particular type of champions, then and the counters, if nobody in the community found these counters, would the content still be easier? Is the point that I would kind of say back to everybody that's kind of it's easy. Is it easy because you know what you're doing? Or is it easy because any champion will do? And I don't think people would go, yeah, I'm not going to take a superior Iron Man in this quest. Hell no, am I going to do that? And I guess that's the problem, isn't it? It's kind of how you kind of look at this from a difficulty standpoint. I'm happy with it because I need to save some time. So it's all about getting some stuff, done as quickly as possible. I say that just in case I know what I'm doing or I've known what I'm doing, versus I'll just go in with the wrong kind of champion to this one. The time suck is the problem. I appreciate the rewards, but it's the kind of monotonous, boring, tedious content I have to play to get it. I'm going to think long and hard about my future play, and that sucks. Does it cut that deep? Does it cut that deep? It's an interesting thread. I would say get involved with it in the description. This might be stupid conspiracy theory, but was Brutal DLX difficulty supposed to have a different difficulty for each path? There are 6 paths and 6 difficulties. I would assume that would make more sense than having it do the entire Paragon difficulties go. Because of the... Well, this is a problem, isn't it? I'm not going to get down to like conspiracy theories on it. But it's a weird one. I think it's a weird one as to like... Obviously, it's not ticked everyone's boxes. The highly skilled will probably look at this and go, "Do you know what? This isn't like challenging me." Have people found the counters quickly? Yes, people have found incredibly decent counters very, very quickly. But without those counters, would it have been, as difficult? I guess it's just a time slump, isn't it? 200 plus fights, definitely too much grind. This sure sounds like EOP, Eternity of Patience. But saying that, would a kind of like Eternity of Pain level of kind of micro quest being good? Like just 2 paths and high difficulty, low champion options to take on very specific paths. Use this for this. I don't know. But then this is the other side of things where I'm going like, is Kabam trying to flood the game with more shards quickly? So free to play, lower accounts are able to grab these rewards and build up their rosters. It's an out there theory. It may not fly. But the weird thing about this is, I did say this, I said that the rewards that Kabam had put in for the Legends Challenge were not reflecting a high difficulty curve. Does anybody remember me saying that? It looked like it came true. Whereas if they were putting something like 10,000 Titan Crystal shards, 15,000, 20,000, that's different. That's very different. So if you put the rewards a bit higher, Kabam now have done what I've said in the past. Depreciated. The lower, now what seems to be higher is now the lower, and there's going to be more availability of that one. Interesting theory, interesting thought process. We'll see. We'll see in the future. What are your thoughts on this? Put it in the comment section. Get involved with that thread. It was very interesting reading that, and I thought we'll kick off the Saturday with a bit of discussion on that one. We're going to be being quite chill over the weekend with video content, and I want to get back into it next week. It's been a bit full on this week, I must admit. But yeah, next week I want to get back into the full on stuff. It's got some great video ideas that I need to kind of look into. Check out some other content located on screen. Have a great day, whatever you're doing. Have a lovely weekend. I'm going to go to a food festival now, so bye-bye for now, and nom nom nom.